The next step is refraining. Mindfulness is the ground. Refraining is the path. Refraining is one of those uptight words that sounds repressive. Surely alive, juicy, interesting people wouldn't practice refraining. Maybe they would sometimes refrain, but not as a lifestyle. Well, in this context, however, refraining is very much the method of becoming a dharmic person. It's the quality of not grabbing for entertainment the minute we feel a slight edge of boredom coming on. It's the practice of not immediately filling up space just because there is a gap. Once I was giving an interesting meditation practice that combined mindfulness and refraining. We were told just to notice what our physical movements were when we felt uncomfortable. I began to notice that when I felt uncomfortable, I did things like pull my ear, scratch my nose or head, even if it didn't itch. Straighten my collar. I made all sorts of little jumpy, jittery movements when I felt like I was losing ground. Our instruction was not to change anything, not to criticize ourselves for whatever we were doing, but just to notice what we did. Noticing how we try to avoid it is a way to get in touch with basic groundlessness. Refraining, not habitually acting out impulsively, has something to do with giving up entertainment mentality. Through refraining, we see that there's something between the arising of the craving or the aggression or the loneliness or whatever it may be, and whatever action we take as a result. There's nothing there in us that we don't want to experience, and we never do experience because we're so quick to act. Underneath our ordinary lives, underneath all the talking we do, all the moving we do, and all the thoughts in our mind, there's a fundamental groundlessness. There's a bubbling along all the time. We experience it as a restlessness or an edginess. We experience it as fear. It motivates passion, aggression, ignorance, jealousy, and pride. But we never get down to the essence of it. Until now. Refraining is the method for getting to know the nature of this restlessness and fear. Settling into our groundlessness. Instead of immediately entertaining ourselves by talking or acting or thinking, we begin to relax. We've always been speeding through life, and we'll always be stuck with what my grandfather called a good case of the jitters. Refraining is a way to make friends with ourselves at the most profound level, and we can begin to relate with what's underneath all the bubbles and burps, all the stuff that comes up and expresses itself as uptight, controlling, manipulative behavior, or whatever, or however it may show up. And underneath all that, there is something very soft, very tender that we experience as fear or edginess. So I invite us now again into this practice to simply notice. Notice the discomfort. Notice the ways that perhaps you avoid the intimacy of your own being. The jitters, the nervousness, the constant need for stimulation or entertainment. And let us now practice letting all of that go for a few minutes to simply be. Transformative experience to simply pause instead of immediately filling up the space. Because of mindfulness, we see things when they arise. Because of our understanding, we don't buy into the chain reaction that makes things grow from minute to expansive. We leave things minute, and they stay tiny. And the result is that we cease to cause harm. We begin to know ourselves thoroughly and to respect ourselves. Anything can come up. Anything can walk into our house, and we can find anything sitting on our living room couch, and we don't freak out. We have been thoroughly processed by coming to know ourselves through thoroughly processed by this honest, gentle mindfulness. Not causing harm requires staying awake. Part of being awake is slowing down enough to notice what we say and do. The more we witness our emotional chain reactions and understand how they work, the easier it is to refrain, and it becomes a way of life to stay awake, slow down, and notice. Stay awake, slow down, and notice. Stay awake, slow down, notice. At the root of all harm is ignorance. Through meditation, we can begin to undo. Stay awake, slow down, and notice. This one life is living and moving and having its being in, as, and through me, in, as, and through all. And I'm so grateful to recognize this truth. So grateful to know peace in this now moment. So grateful to claim courage and gentleness. To choose this day to remain awake and aware. To simply notice and be present. Allowing for the grace and space to refrain from harmful speech, words, actions, or deeds. To notice when emotions arise, to drop back into our heart, to surrender and let love lead the way. I'm so grateful to affirm that a healing is happening now. I am so grateful to know that I am love. And in each moment I choose love, and peace is revealed. And I speak this word on behalf of all of humanity, knowing that as we each commit to knowing ourselves more fully, to doing no harm, that we will create a world that works for all. It is happening now in this very moment. The seeds have been planted, and the practice begins. I'm so grateful for the fulfillment of this word as I release it now into the action of the law that always says yes. Yes, my beloved, yes. It is done